I'm Jeff Taylor. I'm founder of Eons, also founder of Monster.com. And we're here for the CNBC Web Extra. I'm here with Doug and with Jim. Hey, guys. And we're going to ask some questions, and we're going to answer some questions. What do you got for us?
Hi. My background is very specific. Sports marketing, magazine publishing, ad sales marketing. Those industries have gotten, killed. How do I go about... What do I do now if that's what I love to do? How do I find a job doing that? Or how do I transfer my skills when all these other people have done financial services marketing and I haven't? What do I do from here?
We're going to talk a lot about the Internet when we answer these questions,
and I have
right?
that background, too, but there's so much competition out there for every job.
Okay, so every person in the room is going to answer that question the same way. There's so much competition for what I'm trying to do. You have to push your way through that. I want to see you look at an Internet job that's specific to your past careers. It sounds like your passion is there. Now you just have to have your deliberate job direction toward the Internet.
But I do have that. I mean, I know I do sales development. I do that for online, and I do that for publishing.
Have you done a serious skills assessment of yourself? I know conceptually you're talking about it, but have you actually mapped it out? And when I say mapped it out, when I work with clients as a peak performance coach, and I get these kinds of questions, it's like, great, okay, we all know that. Let's find out what we don't know about you. So the exercise I recommend highly is start to map out yourself on a matrix and look at literally your skill sets, strengths, weaknesses, areas of development, and that's one piece. Then go to the other side and say, okay, where are opportunities? And start to zigzag. And you'll start to find actually a flow map for what you want to do. That's step one to finding where to go. Then it's going to come down to willingness and passion, and are you willing to actually go the extra mile? And people discount that. In these times, that is a huge element of success and edge. If you're actually willing to push yourself where others are not willing to because they're worried about the bad stuff and you're willing to focus about the good stuff, you could make it happen.
Let's assume that you've done that and that you also have concluded that your skills match perfectly with sports marketing and media, but that the fact is the jobs are just less plentiful. What I would suggest is to look at other adjacent industry categories where those skills and those applications might reside. For example, in sports, university sports information might take a pay cut, or other advisory firms or event management in consumer products. There are ways to say sports marketing applies to other adjacencies. That's what I would suggest.
My name is Jesse. I'm from New York City. My impression is that everyone is attacking the job boards. There's thousands of resumes being submitted for every job that gets posted. So my question is, are they still a viable tool? Can we still use the online job boards like Monster to find a job?
So here's my thing. You need to be first to the job. I hired a CTO at Monster a number of years ago. He was the first person to apply for the job. One of the things we find out is that people get frustrated because of the volume. There are 80 million resumes on Monster. You're going to be one of those resumes. You have to make yourself stand out. You also have to put a lot of irons in the fire. You can't just expect one job and you're going to get one interview. You may need to apply for 20 or 30 jobs. This is not only true in the private sector. This is particularly true in the government sector.
Jesse, I believe in face-to-face, okay? So when I do interview screening for companies, I'll get 100 resumes. At the end of the day, it's like I got other things to do other than just pile through 100 resumes, where I might have gotten 5. If the person is actually willing to knock on the door, face-to-face, sit there and say, look, I know this wasn't a scheduled appointment, but I need 3 minutes of your time just so you can meet me, that makes an impression. And if you're qualified, I'm getting to see you instead of just rushing past your resume. So don't be afraid to go knock, especially in New York City, don't be afraid to go knock on doors.
Okay, we got one more question.
Hi, my name's Teresa Ross. I'm from Ohio, actually, and part of the reason why I actually came out to New York was to expand my job search. I recently graduated from Ohio State and now find myself competing with people who are veteran in the workforce. What is your advice for people like me to differentiate ourselves while we're out there competing?
So here's the challenge, right? So more mature workers are saying we're competing with entry-level workers. Entry-level workers are saying we're competing with the more mature workers. I think you have to put yourself in a situation, Teresa, where you actually go after the jobs that you want. I like the fact that you're mobile. You graduated from in Ohio. You could work anywhere in the country right now. That's what the opportunity is.
Teresa, you married with kids?
No.
Okay, so you have an edge.
You're mobile.
I've got 3 kids. I don't have the luxury of saying I can work for free. You do. You could actually knock on the door and say, look, I know times are tough. I'm willing to prove my value to you. I'll work for a month for free. I'll suck it up if you give me a shot at the end of the day after that to have a real job with pay.
Great. What's your name and what's your question?
Hi. My name is Valerie, and I'm from New York. And my question is about the strategy, because I've kind of heard 2 different things here. One is, a very targeted search, investigate these companies, target your resume for that company. The other is send out, apply it to 20 or 30 different companies at a time. And I was actually contacted by a firm that represented themselves as a recruiter, but instead they wanted me to pay them $5,000.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
And your mother's maiden name and social security number.
Right. They were going to brand me, and
they're going to brand you all right.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And then allow me to provide some way of being able to blast out hundreds of resumes at a time.
Right.
Can I give my best or single concrete job search suggestion to you and to everyone in the audience? If everyone does it with the same thing, it might be a little less effective.
Right
but here's what I would do. I would rather than network to try and get a job or even get interviews, what I would do is say, okay, I'm from whatever locality or whatever school you went to, do an article, do a survey, say, I am representing the Penn State Alumni Magazine, and we're doing a survey of how changing leadership in healthcare. And with that as your entry, you actually go and you do the article, by the way, and the relationships and the conversations that you will get from that interaction will differentiate you from anyone else just trying to get the interview.
That is a great suggestion.
Isn't that a good idea?
Great suggestion. It really is.
What does it take to increase your odds of landing a job? According to our CNBC LinkedIn poll, we asked, what's the most critical thing you need to land a job? Education, internal references at a company, work experience, personality, or other. 63% of you felt that the internal reference was the most important, the champion. Our thanks to our audience. You're out there. Nice job. Thank you to my colleagues, Jim and Doug. And go to our website, jobs.cnbc.com, to help you find a job. Thanks to all of you.
Thank you all.